Have you ever caught your dog staring into an empty corner of the room, suddenly becoming uneasy around a stranger, or refusing to leave your side when you're feeling down? Most people assume these are just random behaviors, small quirks that make dogs seem a little strange. But what if your dog isn't acting strangely at all? What if they're simply noticing things that never reach your senses? The truth is that your dog experiences the world very differently from you. They can hear sounds hidden from human ears, notice details your eyes were never designed to see, detect changes in people through scent, and react to signals long before most of us realize they're there. One of the strangest things about living with a dog is how often they react to things that seem completely invisible to everyone else. You might be sitting in a quiet room when your dog suddenly lifts their head and focuses on a hallway, a window, or a corner that appears completely empty. For a few seconds, they seem unusually alert, as if they have noticed something important while you remain completely unaware. Most people assume there is nothing there, but your dog may be experiencing a very different version of that moment. Their hearing extends far beyond the range of human ears, allowing them to detect sounds that never reach your awareness in the first place. A distant bark several houses away, a small animal moving behind a wall, or even subtle noises hidden beneath everyday background sounds may still stand out clearly to them. What feels like silence to you may be filled with information for your dog, which helps explain why they sometimes react long before anyone else notices anything unusual. And once you begin looking at their behavior through that lens, many mysterious moments start to make a little more sense. The dog staring toward an empty hallway may not be staring at nothing at all. They may simply be listening to a world that exists just beyond the limits of your own senses. But hearing is only one layer of that hidden world, because some of the things that capture a dog's attention have nothing to do with sound. This becomes especially noticeable after sunset, when your own vision begins to lose detail and familiar places start looking very different. Shadows grow deeper, objects blend together, and movement becomes harder to track with confidence. Yet, your dog often seems remarkably comfortable in those same conditions, moving through the darkness with a level of awareness that can sometimes feel surprising. They pause and focus on distant movement. They notice activity in the yard before you do. And occasionally, they become interested in something that is almost impossible for you to see. The explanation is far less mysterious than it first appears. Dogs are naturally equipped to function better in low light than humans, partly because their eyes are specialized for detecting movement when visibility is limited. For their wild ancestors, recognizing motion during dawn, dusk, and nighttime hours often meant the difference between finding food and missing an opportunity. That ability still influences the way modern dogs experience the world today. A backyard that appears completely empty to you may contain movement that immediately attracts your dog's attention, even though your own eyes struggle to pick it up. And sometimes what your dog notices is not movement at all. Many people grow up believing that dogs see less than humans. In reality, they often see differently rather than seeing less. Researchers believe dogs can detect certain visual details that remain hidden from normal human vision, allowing them to notice clues that most people walk past without ever realizing they were there. A patch of grass may look ordinary to you. A section of a walking trail may seem completely unremarkable. But your dog may stop, investigate carefully, and return to that exact location again later because they are picking up information that never reached your eyes. To a human, it looks like curiosity. To a dog, it may look more like evidence. This helps explain why some dogs become fascinated with places that appear completely ordinary to their owners. From the dog's perspective, those places may contain traces of activity, movement, or visual clues that tell a story humans cannot see. And perhaps the most fascinating part is that some of the signals dogs pay attention to are not hidden in the environment at all. Sometimes they are coming directly from the people they love. Most owners have experienced a moment when their dogs seemed to understand how they were feeling before a single word was spoken. Maybe it happened during a difficult day when your dog refused to leave your side, or during a stressful moment when they suddenly became more attentive than usual. Many people describe this as a special emotional connection, and in many ways, it is. But there may also be something more happening beneath the surface. Dogs spend their entire lives observing us. They watch the way we move, listen to changes in our voices, and pay attention to countless details that most people never notice consciously. At the same time, they are constantly gathering information through scent. When humans experience stress, sadness, fear, or excitement, subtle chemical changes occur throughout the body. Most of those signals pass unnoticed by other people. Dogs often detect them immediately. To them, emotions are not just expressions on a face. They can also be patterns carried through scent, posture, movement, and behavior. That may be one reason dogs sometimes appear beside their owners during difficult moments without being called. They are responding to signals that began long before the conversation ever started. And in some cases, those signals may reveal more than emotion alone. There have been remarkable reports of dogs repeatedly focusing on one specific area of a person's body, even when nothing appears visibly wrong. At first, most owners assume it is simply an odd habit. Yet researchers believe a dog's extraordinary sense of smell may allow them to notice subtle biological changes that humans cannot detect on their own. This does not mean dogs can diagnose disease, but it may help explain why certain dogs become unusually interested in physical changes long before their owners realize anything has changed at all. Which raises an interesting question. If dogs can notice changes within the people they know best, what else might they be noticing in the people around them? If dogs can notice subtle changes in the people around them, it may explain another behavior that owners often find difficult to understand. Sometimes a dog meets someone for the first time and immediately seems uncomfortable around them. The person appears friendly. The conversation feels normal. Nothing obvious suggests there is a problem. Yet, the dog hesitates, watches carefully, or chooses to keep its distance. Many people describe this as a dog sensing a bad person. The reality is probably less mysterious and far more impressive. Dogs gather information constantly. While humans often rely heavily on words and appearances, dogs pay close attention to scent, posture, movement, and tiny behavioral cues that most people never consciously notice. A person may appear calm while their body reveals signs of stress or tension. Their movements may be slightly different. Their scent may carry information that humans cannot detect. Your dog is not reading minds, but they may be reading signals that never reach your awareness. And that same sensitivity may help explain another behavior many owners have experienced. Have you ever noticed your dog repeatedly choosing the exact same spot beside you? Not just sitting nearby, but curling up against a specific area of your body whenever they have the chance. Most people assume their dog simply wants comfort, and sometimes that is true. But dogs are also surprisingly sensitive to heat. Long before humans built homes and comfortable beds, their ancestors relied on detecting warmth to locate prey, identify safe resting places, and navigate the world around them. That ability still exists today. A warm blanket naturally attracts many dogs. A patch of sunlight on the floor can become the most valuable spot in the house. And occasionally, a dog may become interested in a part of your body that feels slightly warmer than the surrounding area. They are not making a medical diagnosis. They are simply responding to information their senses can detect. The more we learn about dogs, the more it becomes clear that they experience layers of information most people never notice. And some of those layers may extend far beyond human hearing, sight, or smell. This is especially noticeable when the weather begins to change. Many owners have experienced a strange moment when their dog became restless hours before a storm arrived. At first, nothing seems unusual. The sky still looks calm. The air feels normal. Yet the dog begins pacing through the house, searching for a place to hide, or behaving in a way that feels completely out of character. For generations, people have wondered how animals seem to know that bad weather is coming. Part of the answer may involve sounds and vibrations that humans cannot detect. Storm systems often produce low-frequency signals long before they become visible. While people remain unaware of those changes, dogs may already be responding to them. They are not predicting the future. They are reacting to information that reaches them earlier than it reaches us. And perhaps that is why some dogs appear nervous long before the first thunderclap ever arrives. But weather may not be the only thing they notice. Throughout history, there have been reports of unusual animal behavior before earthquakes, volcanic activity, and other natural events. Scientists still debate exactly which signals animals detect. But many researchers believe changes in vibration, pressure, or low-frequency sound may play an important role. For a human, those signals are often too subtle to recognize. For a dog, they may be impossible to ignore. This does not mean dogs possess supernatural powers. They cannot see the future. They cannot predict every disaster. But their senses evolved to gather information from the environment in ways that ours never did. And that difference may sometimes allow them to react before we understand what is happening. When you look at all of these abilities together, a fascinating picture begins to emerge. The dog staring toward an empty hallway may be hearing something distant. The dog watching the darkness may be noticing movement that your eyes cannot follow. The dog staying close during a difficult day may be responding to changes in your emotions. And the dog acting strangely before a storm may simply be detecting signals hidden within the environment itself. From their perspective, none of these behaviors are unusual. They are simply responding to the world as they experience it. A world filled with sounds, scents, visual clues, and subtle signals that exist all around us, whether we notice them or not. And perhaps that is the most remarkable thing about sharing life with a dog. Every day they remind us that the world is far larger, richer, and more complex than human senses alone can ever reveal. Maybe your dog was never acting strange. Maybe they were simply noticing parts of the world that your senses were never designed to detect. The sounds that seem silent, the signals hidden in the air, the emotions you never say out loud, and the changes that happen long before most people notice them. The next time your dog suddenly stops and stares, you may see that moment a little differently. And if this changed the way you understand your dog, consider subscribing and joining us for more discoveries about the hidden world our dogs experience every day.